Hey friends, it's Courtney Rich from Cake by Courtney, and today we are making just as good as box mix homemade brownies. Now, here's the deal, and I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I love a box mix brownies, specifically the Ghirardelli triple chocolate. Those are my favorite, and I've tried so many homemade brownie recipes and none of them compare. And I took it on as a challenge. How do I make brownies that are as good as the Ghirardelli box? Because those are my favorite. Took me a long time. Took me several rounds, but this recipe is right there with it. So if you're looking for a homemade from scratch brownie recipe that's as good as the Ghirardelli triple chocolate brownies, this is the recipe for you. So you've got to try it and then let me know what you think and how it compares. There's a couple steps here. So the first thing we're going to start with is just mixing some flour with cocoa powder. Now, remember, cocoa powder can like make or break your recipe, whether it's cake or cookies or brownies. This is where you want to spend a little extra money and don't skimp and don't like hurry through the process and just grab Hershey's from the grocery store. We want something that is a good quality dark chocolate. This one is extra brute cacao berry cocoa powder. So it has a high fat, so 20 to 22% fat is really important. And yes, cocoa powder has fat. The higher the fat, the better. That means you're gonna have more moisture and just more richness in your cakes, your cookies, your brownies. So this, for me, is a game changer. I'll link it below, but that's what this is. And it's just got the most amazing rich chocolate smell, and we've got a little bit of salt. So let's whisk those together. All right, we're gonna set this here. Let's move over to the stove, and over on the stove, we're gonna melt our dark chocolate chips with our butter just to get this silky smooth, and that's all we're doing here, and then we'll add our other ingredients. Now that the butter and the chocolate are melted silky smooth, we're gonna add our brown sugar, and we have 2 cups of brown sugar. This is what's gonna give us that awesome chewy flavor. I'm gonna switch over to my spatula here and we're gonna stir this in, get rid of all the clumps. Now you do want this to cool just a little bit before you're adding your sugar and your eggs because you don't want your eggs to cook. We're not looking for scrambled eggs here, but we do need that melted and the butter and the chocolate just really silky smooth. So once that brown sugar is added and incorporated, it's gonna get a little bit thicker, but still pretty thin in consistency. And now we're just gonna add our eggs one at a time, stirring really well between each addition. There's one. Break up that yolk really nicely. Okay, this is gonna start to look really fudgy and thick. There we go, let's get our last 2 mixed in. And we have a little vanilla we wanna add in there. Okay, so mix that really well. Make sure those eggs are incorporated very nicely. It's gonna start to get thicker. Your arm is gonna start to hurt while you're mixing it. That's when you know you're in a good place. And it should be silky smooth and shiny in texture. All right, and once we're there, oh, yes. We're ready to add these dry ingredients. We'll just stir these in. Now, we've got our melted chocolate chips. We've got our cocoa powder in there. So 2 forms of chocolate in the brownie batter. Then we're also gonna pour some more chocolate chips into the batter and a little bit on top to give them that just signature Ghirardelli box element to them. I feel like I just love how the box always has plenty of chocolate chips and chocolate flavor, especially that triple chocolate version. Oh, it's just so good. Okay, so we're just gonna fold this in, get the clumps out, make sure that flour is incorporated really nicely. We're gonna put some of the chocolate chips in here, just fold them in, and I'm gonna save a few to sprinkle on top. I'm using a metal 9x13 inch pan for my brownies. I love using the metal pan because you are gonna get that like crispy edge. If you love the crispy edge, that's just so important, I feel like, for brownies. So let's get all this batter poured in. Ooh, she's heavy. Oh my goodness. Hi, this is heaven. All right, I will be licking the rest of that in a moment. And then right now, let's just spread this out so it's evenly distributed in the pan. Gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, let's get a few of these chocolate chips sprinkled on top. Just finish this off. And we're gonna bake the brownies at 350 for about 30, 35 minutes. You might need a little bit longer, especially if you end up using a glass pan instead of a metal pan. That can make a big difference in your baking time. So keep that in mind. If you're using the glass pan, it is gonna take longer to bake. The brownies have barely cooled, but we've got to dig in. It's hard to wait too long for these to cool. But I will say I do really like them when they're room temperature. But okay, let's get this gooey slice out right now. Might need some help with another utensil here. The first one. All right, here we go. Here we go. Oh, it's going to break. All right, we can do this. We can do it. Okay, there we go. All right, look at our gooey center in here. And it will start to just set a little bit more as the brownie cools completely. So if you like it a little bit more set, let it cool completely. Otherwise, scoop it out when it's still a little bit warm. Throw a scoop of ice cream on there. And we are gonna dig in all that chocolate. Oh, I'm so happy right now. Okay, I'm gonna talk to you for a minute. Wow. You get the little crispy top, just like the box mix, right? But then you have the yummy gooey center, the extra chocolate chips in there, just like Ghirardelli does it. So if you're looking for a homemade brownie recipe that compares to your favorite box mix like I do, this one right here. This is it. The recipe is down below, linked, cakebycourtney.com, and I will catch you next time.